Hi, it's Fiona Kane here from Informed Health. I'm a nutritionist, holistic counsellor and mind-body eating coach. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about stress. This is a little tiny excerpt of some of the things that you learn when you do our Stress Less program. I've popped the link above. I will also pop the link below when I finish this talk. I'll make this relatively short and sweet though. There's so much to cover, so I am just going to just a little bit of useful information about stress that you probably don't know, and it'll be really useful information. So I hope you find this really useful. So we all deal with stress. Stress is just a part of life, and we ultimately need to learn not so much about not having stress, but how to manage stress when we do have it. And part of that is actually how to perceive it, how to think about it. And in particular, the stress response. When we start having that stress response where we get those stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, whatever, we start kind of getting, the heart's beating a bit faster and starting to feel a little bit nervous and, that kind of feeling, those symptoms, a lot of us associate that with as a bad thing rather than, there's different ways of looking at it. So I'm going to talk to you about that. So what if you approached it as if it was actually your body doing its natural thing? It's your body helping you. It's your body helping you prepare for a challenge. What if you look at it that way? Well, it actually was looked at that way in a study. So there was a study done where, and it was at a university, and they got the participants of this study, it was at Harvard University. Before they went through a social stress, they were taught to reframe their stress, reframe that stress response as it being helpful. So instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm getting stressed, to actually think, oh, my body's helping me to meet this challenge. Wow, isn't that great? My body is doing great stuff, yay, So they had just reframed the way they thought about the stress. And when they did that, what they found is the participants who learned to view the stress response as helpful in their performance were less stressed out, less anxious, and more confident. One of the most interesting things was actually their physical stress response changed. So in a typical stress response, when your heart rate goes up, your blood vessels will constrict. And that is one of the things that connects stress so much with cardiovascular events, with heart disease, right? Heart attacks, that kind of thing. Because when you're in that stress mode, the blood vessels constrict. But what they found in these students is that during the study was that their stress response, because they viewed their stress as being helpful, because they were thinking, oh, well, great, okay, I've got my heart's going a bit faster, I feel these changes happening, that's my body helping me to respond well to stress and rise to the situation. Because that is the way that they talked about it to themselves, and that's what they believed was happening, their blood vessels stayed relaxed. So even though they were having the same stress response that person might be having, the difference was that person saying, oh my God, this is terrible, I'm having this bad thing happen. Well, the people in this study told themselves that their body was supporting them, the body was doing its natural response to support them through something challenging, and they did not get the constriction of the blood vessels like people normally would get, right? So simply just believing that your stress response is your body helping prepare you for a challenge, as opposed to it's a terrible bad thing, makes all the difference in physically and emotionally how you cope with that stress. That's pretty powerful, don't you think? I think that's just huge. It could, over a lifetime, that could be the difference between getting a letter from the Queen, although it might not be the Queen for much longer, or dying at a young age. So the way you think about stress, how you think about stress matters. It matters. It's not about getting rid of the stress. It's about how you respond to that stress and the way you think about that stress. There's also too, when you first are stressed, so I just one little bit at the end, when you first feel that stress response, it's always good to check a couple of things. One, is it excitement? Because sometimes it's excitement. Like if I'm about to do a talk or I'm just embarking on something new, part of me will be stressed, part of me will be excited. So sometimes that feeling isn't really stress, it's excitement. So kind of it's good to differentiate it. And the other thing is too that sometimes the stress response is for something that's really not stressful, like as in I have a stress response to cockroaches. That's not a lion chasing after me, it's just a cockroach. So that's when you just say to yourself, calm the farm, it's just a cockroach. There's no need to have a stress response, because you don't need to have a stress response for that, right? But if it is really something that's stressful, and sometimes it is, that's okay. But it's like, well, okay, my body's preparing me to deal with this challenge. Yay, my body, isn't that great? And that makes all the difference between whether or not you have that constricted blood vessel, whether or not you experience it as a really negative thing, or whether or not you experience it as a positive thing, and the health benefit of not having those constricted blood vessels while you're doing that challenging thing makes all the difference. I just thought it's a really, really useful thing to know. We teach this and many, many other things in our Stress Less program. It starts on the 20th of June. It runs for 6 weeks in a private Facebook group. And within that group, myself and Rebecca will deliver a whole bunch of information to you. Some of it will be posts, some of it will be videos, but you also get ebooks, and so you can learn audio way or visual or reading or whatever works for you. And this is just a snippet of what you will learn in that. We're going to look at nutrition, we're going to look at language, we're going to look at all of these kind of studies and interesting things to make you just totally change the way you think about and look at stress. And we'll be looking at energy and boundaries and all sorts of things. And the good thing about the program is you don't have to be available at any particular time, because all the information will go into the group, and you can and watch it when you want to. So if I do a video at 10 in the morning, you can watch it at 10 in the night or the next day, or whatever. So it's really, the program is aimed at very busy, overwhelmed people, so we've tried to make it as chill and easy as possible. Anyway, I hope that really is a useful tip for you to understand that the way you think about your stress really matters. And if you do think about it as something that is supporting you and supporting you to meet a challenge in your life, as opposed to something negative, it makes all the difference physically and emotionally about how you get through that stress, and sort of how how flexible and able you are to overall just throughout your life manage stress. It's really important to learn not to try and avoid it, but to try and avoid it when you can. But ultimately, life is life, so it's like how to manage it when it happens. Hope that was useful, and join us in our Stress Less program. The link is above. I'll also pop it below. Looking forward to seeing you there. So it's only $97. That's brilliant for 6 weeks of learning everything I know about stress, which is an awful lot, I can tell you. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.